I am sure catcalling will still happen there and does happen to women every day, but the frequency of it, I think, will decrease because I will be in a car and really all they're gonna see is my side profile and like, ain't nobody checking for that. Hey friends, hey fam, what's poppin'? I hope you guys are doing so super well today, staying hydrated, living your best life, and checking in with your friends, your family, your heart, and your mind above all things. My name is Janae, and I post home decor and lifestyle videos right here on the tube. But today, I am going to be sharing my personal reasons as to why I left New York City and why I am now choosing to go to Los Angeles, which a lot of you have been super supportive and encouraging, and I really appreciate that during this journey and this transition. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. I just have a few very honest, raw, and real reasons why I decided to say goodbye to New York and why I'm wanting to embark on this new adventure in Los Angeles. So just a very brief backstory. I am not originally from New York. I am originally from North Carolina and absolutely love North Carolina. I rep the South and I have full intentions to come back to the Carolinas to, I guess, settle down or for that phase in my life when I'm ready to invest in property and just have a little bit of a slower pace and watch my money really stretch. But that is not something I'm wanting to do at this moment. However, it is like right on the horizon. And I moved to New York City right after I graduated college and lived there for 4 years. So I didn't last that long, but you know, we did it, we were out there. And I moved there just because a lot of my friends in North Carolina were suddenly like getting married and having babies and all these great exciting things and buying houses right out of school. That's pretty common here. But I just was not in that headspace. So I was like, where can I go that's the complete opposite of this? And in my mind, that was New York. I just tried it and I'm really glad I did. I met some of the most amazing people and was able to develop my like passions and my career and all types of things that I just may not have experienced if I did not move there. So I don't regret it, and those 4 years were some of the most developmental years of my life. However, probably about sometime between my second or my third year there, I definitely started to realize like, okay, I love it here. This is really fun. I'm making great friends. I love my work, but I don't know if this lifestyle is for me. I think the people who really thrive in New York City are people who are able to make themselves go out, do things, experience life, even when the weather is complete and utter shit. And that is where I lacked. Anytime it was like miserably cold, raining, overwhelmingly hot, like anything that was an extreme, I did not want to go anywhere. I just became a like massive hibernator. I just stayed in my apartment. I like to invite people over so I didn't have to leave, just things like that. And I think that definitely affected my experience there, because I just wasn't getting out and doing things and living my life. And that's not anything against New York. That was just me not pushing myself when I'm uncomfortable. Fast forward, once I realized that New York City may not be the best fit for me longer term, I just went really hard on watching videos, reading articles about other cities that I was interested in, and then actually visiting those cities to see if they align with what would make me happy ultimately. And I still wasn't ready to come back to North Carolina, so my top contenders were DC, Chicago, other major cities, and then even Dallas, and I also considered like a Portland. But then I just, after doing more research and visiting those places, some of them just weren't meeting my needs when it comes to diversity. And then overall, some were just very similar to where I grew up, and I was wanting to experience something the complete opposite of that. As well as a little bit opposite of New York City, which is why Chicago and DC weren't really a fit, because they're very similar, just smaller and cleaner, and the people are really, really nice. And LA, I guess, was the one that was the most opposite of what I grew up with, and the most opposite of New York City. Even though it's still a major city, it has more space. I can get more bang for my buck when it comes to living situations, and there's just more access to, well, let me say this. New York City has plenty of access to nature, but in LA, there's more access to nature that you can get to easily, and also that you can use year round without freezing. In LA, I can hop in my car and go on a day trip, or hop in my car for a weekend trip with a few friends, and we can easily go to some really beautiful places. Might as well do that now while I can actually, you know, afford to. And then that way in the future, there's never a woulda, coulda, shoulda. I just always want to avoid like wondering what if. So I'd rather just find a way to make it happen, and then yeah, figure it out from there. So even though LA is still financially similar to New York City, which I'm okay with the spend that was happening in New York City, and I'm okay with the spend in LA, but the difference is I can spend the same amount in Los Angeles and get more space. I can actually have windows in my living room, my kitchen, my bathroom. I can have outdoor access, like a patio or something like that. Yeah, there's just a lot more features or upgrades I can have in an apartment for the same price in New York. And that I think was really important to me, because my whole work revolves around my space and home interiors. And yeah, in New York, I was operating in just one little bedroom, but in LA, I will be able to do work in a living room and design spaces in the kitchen and the dining and a bedroom. There are way more options. And not that there aren't apartments with windows in every room in New York. They exist. They are just out of my budget and my reality. So that was that. Another big reason why I was ready to make a change was, and this isn't New York City's fault in any way, and this is not how everyone is in New York, but I did a lot of commuting to and from work, of course, and for me, being a curvier Black woman, and I think every female experiences this no matter what you look like, but there was a heightened amount of catcalling, and it just would get me in the worst mood every single time, and it would happen multiple times a day. And not to like gas myself up in any way, but just a lot of the men that I would walk past in the city or in Brooklyn always had something to say, and it just got to the point where it was, I don't know, bringing me down. It was exhausting. And yeah, I was just exhausted from having to feel uncomfortable, constantly be like double checking over my shoulder, which you have to do anywhere. But because in New York, you're only walking all the time, you're doing that much more often than in a lot of other cities. So yeah, and it didn't matter the season, it didn't matter what you're wearing. I could be in a muumuu, I could be in spandex, and it's like somebody had something to say that would make me feel uncomfortable, just like it does for most women. Yeah, I do not want to have to put up with that anymore. LA was very appealing because I could still get the city life I'm looking for, but I can now trade in that for just being in traffic all the time. And I am not naive. I am sure catcalling will still happen there, and does happen to women every day, but the frequency of it, I think, will decrease, because I will be in a car and really all they're gonna see is my side profile, and like, ain't nobody checking for that. Overall, I mean, that's pretty much it when it comes to my reasons for choosing LA over other cities. Really just the access to the outdoors, but while still having a lot of diversity, because a lot of the cities that have a lot of mountains around them, like Denver or Portland, they're beautiful, but the level of diversity just wasn't as robust. And that was something that was important to me just based on where I grew up. I am seeking that out. So yeah, LA had that. It had access to nature, it had access to beaches, even though it doesn't seem like people go pretty often, but at least I can hop in my car and do it if I want to. And it's just a new adventure. It's temporary. I'm not settled down yet. I'm still single, and I just want to try something new, experience it, and then I will come back to the land of biscuits and sweet tea and affordable property soon enough. Yeah, so I hope that kind of paints the picture for some of you who were curious. And you know, of course, I didn't say it, but of course the weather was very appealing. I think for people like myself who struggle to get out and do things when the weather is miserable, I think LA will be a great option because that's gonna happen less often, I'd imagine. I think the only two things I am a little nervous about are things that people from LA have definitely helped me realize are not the actual case. But of course, you know, in New York, people are just very like real, raw, straightforward, and a little bit more, I think, like just gritty, down to earth about that hustle. And I definitely respect that, and I think I align a lot with that lifestyle. But you know, if you grew up only seeing a certain city on TV, you may easily assume that the people that live there are like that, and that is just not the case. But still, that fear of thinking like, am I gonna meet like genuine, authentic people there? Or is everybody just gonna be, you know, seeking clout and trying to get, I don't know, some type of fame? But then I remember like, okay, the friends that I have that are from there and that grew up there and people who have lived there for a few years, they're nothing like that. So that means there's plenty of other people that are nothing like that. And also people who are like that, there is nothing wrong with them. They're living their lives. So like really I had to like stop and like take a second. Like there's no need for me to be judging people who live that type of lifestyle just because mine is different. Like that's so dumb. There are a ton of people in the city. So to, I think, you know, disregard an entire city based on something like that, it's not the most logical because people just aren't that simple. That's not how it works. My other fear of moving to LA, which, you know, call me crazy, however, you know, it does seem like, at least from afar, that well, first of all, the dating scene in LA I think is very similar to New York, just based off of what my friends have told me who live there. It sounds like almost parallel to dating in New York. The only difference is being a curvier, darker skinned female, it does not seem like the men are checking for women who look like me out there, and that may be a complete lie. That just might be in my head. And even if it's not in my head, like that is okay. I'm not, you know, disregarding what God can do, but that is something that obviously is gonna come to mind. I'm 28, I'm a female, like these are things that are really coming to my mind. And so I think if I, you know, maybe chose somewhere like Dallas, Houston, even Chicago, or coming back to North Carolina, my chances might be a little bit greater. But anything's possible. I'm not gonna disregard it. I'm just being honest about what some of those fears were. But I look forward to seeing how it goes. Who knows? And I hope watching this you are encouraged to really kind of figure out what are some of the things that you want to experience, even if it's just like a weekend trip, a week-long trip. It doesn't have to be a move to a new city, but just thinking about some of the things that you want to do in these next couple of years of your life, and then figuring out how to get there. It's your life and you only get one, so get after what you want to get after, and yeah, enjoy it. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I appreciate you, I love you, and please never forget, you ain't nothing but a baby. Hey, you ain't nothing but a baby. Hey, you the best, you the baddest, and I love you so much. Thanks for watching this video. Bye!